In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true God, in Amen we trust as the Republic of Mentellect. Hail Amen, hail us. Good evening. I am your host, the intellectual ᴇᴛӷᴇR, and this is Mentellect Radio, and tonight we're going to be speaking about the 100 ether, the full body solar regeneration, which is going to be sparked by an explosion of all elements collected within this gas that you refer to as ether. This is what ether is. Ether is gas. Ether carries light and elements from the sun. There's earthbound ether, right, which gets locked into the planet, right, and water and the elements in the planet. It locks into the earth and it becomes earthbound ether. The natural gas you see shooting up from the earth is earthbound ether. And then you have solar ether. Solar ether is continuous gas. Why? Because sunlight or solar energy streams throughout the universe. And that is all forms of ether. That is continuous ether. That is ether that has no boundaries. Right? It is extensive. When elements within ether, when elements collide with one another, elements lock into the natural gas that transports the elements to the planets and the light to the planet. When they lock, too many elements lock into the etheric exchange onto the earth, there comes an explosion. An explosion takes place when you have oxygen, which is a form of ether, explodes. Right? You have all kinds of gases, which are ether, which, as I said, are used to transport elements to the planet, and light, all gases. Your so-called scientists refer to ether as a pleasant-smelling, colorless, volatile liquid that is lightly flammable. Right? It is used as anesthesia, as an anesthetic, and a solvent, intermediate in industrial products. Now they said anesthesia, right? Anesthesia, or what they give you, is a form of gas, an ether gas, to put you to sleep when they're about to, have some sort of surgery and things like that. You breathe in etheric gas, right? And the combination of these elements, right, can put somebody under. They can kill someone, right? They can exhaust life, and they can also charge life, right? They start life forward. Ether carries life on the planet. Everything in life, all your movements in the planet are based on explosions, etherical explosions going off in the physical makeup of your humans, of your animals, of your plant life, your tree life. Everything that grows has an etheric explosion taking place, right, in order for the growth to take place, right? These are compounded elements, right? Compounded chemical elements within the etheric exchange, or the etheric vessel, which carries these elements to the planet. And within these elements, there is constant explosion. They are set in a certain compound to cause explosion to take place. The way man and woman's makeup is, and the chemicals, or the elements, I should say, the elements that are in the etheric makeup of these people cause expansion and growth. They were arranged that way. So when you grow up, right, when you go into puberty, when you go into old age, when you age ever so often, that's forms of etheric explosions taking place. Certain elements are being produced in your body. Certain elements your body is starting to discharge and lose. There's an explosion taking place. And when you are unable to reach a certain point, that means you haven't exhausted your etherical elemental makeup. You have exhausted it, and you burn out. I used to say all the time that certain people are not designed to become old. Certain people are meant to die young because they don't have the etheric makeup the constant explosion to move them into an older age or an elderly age or time frame. They're not genetically designed to explode into a elder or a older version of themselves, right? They're not designed that way. They tell you that the genetics are designed a certain way, but it is the elements that are in the etheric exchange or the etheric vessel that makes it able to bring about an explosion to age you, right? To bring you into a certain level or into a older phase of yourself, a future version of yourself, right? These are elements going off in you. This is why when they tell you you might be deficient in this mineral or this vitamin or whatever, these are all elements. Zinc, copper, iron. How do you think these come into you? How do these become a part of your genetic makeup? How do they become a part of your genetic makeup? Through sunlight and through oxygen. Through sunlight and through oxygen. And this is through an etheric or an etheric gaseous exchange in which you are breathing in and taking in light ether, solar ether. You're taking this in. The human genetic or the human makeup is not really designed to take in solar ether. They're more designed to take in planetary ether because they were created here on Earth. They are more designed for planetary element buildup, right? Whereas our so-called black people are designed to take solar etheric exchange. Those are the extended solar lights or solar gas that we are able to take in and take elements from. The vitamins we're able to take from the sun, the elements that we're able to take from it that are produced in the earth, that are produced in us, is because of that solar plex that sits within the chest of every so-called black man and black woman. This is an etheric exchange of elements that we take in. We pull this in. Our bodies are going through explosions because of this. This is why they say we like the fastest people on the planet. We run the fastest. We jump the highest. These are all forms of explosion that nobody else has contact with, connection with, right? Strongest people, because we draw that solar etheric energy from the sun. We draw this energy from the sun. These elements, these extra elements that are packed within the sun, that is sent through this etheric exchange in which we take in these elements. These are the extra elements. These are the extended elements. These are the extended elements that are found within us, that can be found in the earth. And then there are going to be some extended elements in us that they will discover will not be found in the earth, that will only be found in the so-called black man and black woman, because we are the only ones who are able for our makeup, our genetic makeup, to take in these elements, these extended elements. So when I say 100 ether, 100 ether is actually the beginning or a solar regeneration into a higher state of being, a higher state of existence, a higher state of reality. Because when Dr. York used to talk about 9 ether, he was only talking about the hair. He stayed steady on the hair, but what about the rest of your makeup? What about the rest of your genetic makeup beyond the hair? The hair was just 9 ether. He stayed fixated on the hair as the 9 ether. And he told everybody else they were 6 ether, 3 ether, all the races, 3 ether, 6 ether, right? And that was just the hair. What about the skin? What about the cells? What about the organs? What about the brain? Those represent ether as well. Those all represent ether as well. They are all powered by elemental makeups. They are all made up through elemental makeup. So there's an etheric exchange in those. And when you get to those levels in the makeup of these things, of these organs in the body, these instruments in the body, right? Then you get to higher or advanced states of ether, right? The open vessel to that is the mind. The open vessel to that is the mind, in which there is constant extension or explosion, right? That is the open vessel. When I talked about the third eye experience, that is the open door to that higher etheric exchange. And then I talked about the fourth eye. All right? These are the open gates to the higher etheric exchange. 100 represents one. Beyond the physical, 100 represents one. Because each time you count from 1 to 100, 100 to 1,000, this represents different stages or different levels. Different stages and different levels of existence. Advanced stages. Things that we are not in tune with yet. Things that we are not in alignment with yet. That wait for those people who are able to carry that 100 ether connection, where everything cuts on. Everything cuts on. Every part of the body is working in unison with the mind. In other words, whatever you think about, no matter how far-fetched it is, if you say, I want to jump off of a building and I want to fly in the air, your body is going to work with that because your mind already pictures it. So now your mind will allow your body to follow what it is thinking because your mind has already imagined it. Your mind has already brought up an image on that, so your body should be able to replicate that thought. Your body should be able to do exactly what your mind has thought about. And your soul should be the powering or the etheric power in which charges your body to follow out what your mind has imagined or the image that was just painted in your mind. Because when we have dreams, right, these dreams, these visions and whatnot, that's based in the form of etheric exchange as well, gaseous exchange as well. We're receiving these pictures of our extended self through the pineal gland. These dreams, these visions, these daydreams, whatever, these are visions we are receiving through the pineal gland of the future self, where you will be able to fly, where you will be able to have these hot powers and things of that nature if you have these sort of dreams or these type of people you will encounter. But your body is not there yet. Your body is not there yet. The reason why he talks so much about the hair being 9 ether, because the hair sits on top of what? Your head. And what powers your head to be 9 ether, or what is supposed to be the highest state of, being 9 ether, and that is your mind, your brain. Your hair sits on top of your head to protect your brain and your mind, your pineal gland, protect that. So when he's talking about the 9 ether, it's receiving power from the mind, from the brain to stand up. By way of the solar plexus, it's shooting up in the air to protect, and it sends out a signal, an etheric signal, to protect your brain, to protect your brain, to protect your mind, so that that light doesn't go out, so that you do not get injured, receive a concussion, and knock out that light, go unconscious. Whereas the light goes out around your brain and you become brain dead. Your hair grows as a signal to protect your brain. Right? So they can receive those etheric messages, because the etheric messages are going to guide you into a higher state of existence. They're going to guide you toward that 100%. They're going to guide you that way. Right? They're there to guide you into the 100%, which is really one. That is one. 100 to 1,000 is 2. You ever heard them say 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000? What is that countdown, or what does that count up? What does it count up to? The higher states of existence. 9 is a single number for a reason. It is a singular number. From 1 to 9 is a singular number because it represents the highest level of etheric connection in this lesser state, in this material state. When you get to 100, you coming into a lighter state. And when I say you come into a lighter state, you come into a state of extended power. You see extended visions of yourself. Your mind and your body start to sync up with your soul. So the energy is greater, because the energy, whatever your mind says you can do. Your soul gives you the power, and it gives your body the power to do it. As I said, you might say, I want to fly. I want to jump off of this building. I want to stop this train from hitting me. Or I want to knock this train off of the tracks. Your body will be able to make that happen when you hit 100 ether. That is a soul regeneration, an extension of power. Your mind, body, and soul are supposed to line up in unison. Your mind, body, and soul are supposed to line up in unison 100%. That is 100 ether. With a light that is carried by the ether, and the elements are going into the pineal gland, going into your nostrils, going into your eyes, going into every open orifice of your body. You inhaling it, and it is supposed to be strengthening you. It is supposed to be strengthening you to, on a higher level, react physically on a higher level, and to have that power on an extended level. This is the ethers. This is how the power is passed on to the planet. It is the same ether that powers the planet, because as I said, the planet is in a solar system. Nature is a system. It is a systematic machine that operates the planet. That is what nature is. Nature is a systematic machine that operates the planet, that it was set in place by extended or advanced people. So now, when we are that 100 ether, or at that 100 ether state, we have an ultra standing, an extended comprehension of how all things start to work within the material world and how to manipulate it. 100 ether puts you above all things in the material realm. This is the goal, to get to 100 ether. This is why the 144,000 start with 100. This is really why they start with 100. Not 1,044,000, not 1,044,000, but 144,000. This is why I refer to the Mentalians as the 100%ers, because the goal of the 100% of the Mentalian is to access that 100 ether state of existence. That is the state of rulership, supremacy, where you've mastered all things in the material realm, where there are no more boundaries in the material world. The new set of boundaries in the solar realm, the new set of boundaries in the physical realm of the solar realm in which you go to, will be figured out from 100 to 1,000. And then you will be able to penetrate other atmospheres, other solar and cosmic places, or solar systems, because there are advanced solar systems beyond Earth that our people, once we get past the 100% and we start heading toward the 1,000, we will be able to penetrate and conquer the state in which we're supposed to be in. Ether is gas. Etherical beings are channeled once we hit past the 100%. You start moving toward light. You start moving toward gas. Light and gas and element are the makeups. The light is the soul, right? The elements is the body, right? And the gas is the telepathic communication, because all messages are sent still in etheric form, in etheric code. It's all the same thing, but on a higher level. Mind, body, and soul on a higher level is light, element, and gas. Light, element, and gas. Elements break down into physical material. Light breaks down into the soul. And etheric gas breaks down into the mind, in which thoughts are sent. Because as I said, all thoughts travel on energy, and the energy that it travels on is the etheric gas that moves through this planet. Energy travels through a telepathic, etheric, or gaseous state. Oxygen is power. It is etheric. You send messages on air, right? So if you send messages on air, on ether, Ethernet, internet, you send messages on air, then that means the air is combustible. It carries messages, it carries power, it carries light, extended light. But we don't know how to manipulate it yet. We don't know how. This should be our focus. How to manipulate the messages. How to extend ourselves toward 100 ether. Dr. York just taught the people about 9 ether. He's here. And that's a small thing, because once, let's say you have no hair, you're bald. Because when you are at 100 ether, all body hair, all facial, all of that goes. So now that's not even necessary. You start becoming etheric beings, light beings, gas beings, soul beings, pure energy, pure light. And you move through the universe, you move through other realms, other dimensions as a gaseous state or a gaseous form. When you see so-called, they say ghosts, right? They say that your ghosts have a vapory look to them. That's ether. That's low ether beings, physical beings who were created in this realm on this planet. They have a gaseous or gaseous state to them, right? They're referred to as, apparitions. But you can see them. They have a watery, vapory look. Because that is the gas or the ether element within the planet. Because it is based in oxygen, it is watery. The ether carries an oxygen-based water to it. And it lacks element. It lacks elements. Just oxygen. Right? Water. Which is an artificial element, as I taught before, created here on Earth through natural gas, trapped into the Earth to produce an etheric element of Earth, planet, or planetary gas. And this is the makeup of your apparitions, or those beings who are trapped into the Earth, the earthbound people. The solar gas is extended because there are suns throughout the planet. Suns throughout the universe. There are solar entities throughout the universe to give the universe light. So if there are solar entities throughout the universe to give the universe light, to give the universe the power, the ability for people to see within the darkness, then that universe is filled with extended ether, extended gas, extended light, extended elements. And you have an open connection to these elements. Once you go past 100 ether, 100 ether is 1. 100 ether becomes 1. It is no longer 1 to 100. It is now 100 to 1,000. And that is a longer journey. That is a longer journey. From 1 to 100 is the short journey. That is the realization of who you are and what powers are open to you through this etheric exchange. This is the open vessel to what you learn ether is. This is the open journey, or the open vessel of open minds, and when you learn what ether is and what it is supposed to do and how it relates to you and how it is part of your genetic makeup. They also speak about ether carrying alkali in it, right? And oxygen. Alkali, right? Alkaline, right? Why? Because this, again, gives it the ability to explode. Explosion is necessary for life. Explosion is necessary for life. When you are unable to get circulation in your body, you have to take something hot You have to take something that will ignite. People will take nitrogen pills because the nitrogen pills cause explosions in the capillaries and the arteries of your body to get the circulation moving. Explosions are necessary for circulation and movement, to move things. So these explosions, these etheric explosions that we're supposed to be having, right? Flashes of reality, flashes of extended pictures, flashes of actualization reality. These are supposed to be things that are going to open us up to an extended version of ourselves, extended abilities that we have. And the only way we can make this happen is we have to model ourselves after the people who brought us to etheric exchange, who brought us to etheric gases, who brought us to etheric knowledge. We have to model ourselves after them in the collective body. We have to do as they do in order for the explosion to take place. We have to structure ourselves as they are structured in order for the explosion to take place, in order for us to be exploded into a state of power. This is an explosion that has to take place. Even when you have so-called societies and countries, they have to destroy one society in order for them to bring forward another society. They have to destroy something. That is a form of explosion. To blow something apart, to deconstruct it, to tear it down. That's explosions. In order to erect something, in order to break down a wall, in order to go into another room, you have to break a wall down. So you cannot have growth. You cannot have an extended form of reality without destruction, without explosion, right? Without that realization happening, because even realization takes a shock or an explosion, something to happen for you to realize certain things. These things are necessary. And this is all based in etheric exchange. This is all based in that gaseous state in which all things are carried. Elements, light, power, everything. Your world, your new world is being carried in by etheric exchange. And your old world is being carried out by etheric exchange. Every day you talk about sun up, sun down, sun up, sun down. That's etheric exchange. When the planet is moving around the sun, that takes gas to make that happen. That takes light, that takes energy, that takes power. That's all etheric exchange. That is light going in and going out. Light going in and light going out. That's all gas passing out. That's gas, elements, light, energy passing out and setting itself up place. What you will call a past, present, future. These things lock into a certain time frame. These things, these pictures, these images lock into a certain time frame of dimensions. Through the etheric passing and the delivering of these images. When your child is born, that is an etheric explosion that took place. When a man and woman lay down to make a child, the man has to explode into the woman in order to fertilize the egg. That's an etheric exchange taking place. That is an explosion taking place. And these series of explosions are what powers you forward in life so that you can find the extended version of who you are. These are all extensions. We really have no idea how powerful ether is, how powerful gas is, and what our place is in the etheric realm. We have no idea. You sitting around studying the spirit, the spirit, the spirit. The spirit locks you in earthbound ether or the earthbound gases of this realm. It does not let you out of it. The solar ether is what lets you out of this realm and onto higher realms, onto higher levels of thought. This is where we're supposed to be going. We're not supposed to be locked into the earthbound etheric states of this limited existence of three-dimensional picture. We're not supposed to be locked into that. When Dr. York, my mentor, gave us that open vessel, he said 9 ether. I thought to myself, 9 ether, 3 times 3. He kept going 3 times 3, 3 times 3, 3 times 3. I said, I know about the 3 dimensions. Then I know about something higher than 3 to 6 dimensions. Then I thought 9 dimensions. And it started to line up. These are what he was explaining, what I understood it to be at the time, or what I, understood it to be at the time, and comprehended it on a higher level, is that he was explaining extended states of existence, because everything we're looking at is at a lower level. It's shaded in darkness. There's no light to it. And ether brings light. Ether brings elements. Ether brings life. It brings in extended versions and realities. It brings these things in. Your dimensions can only be brought in by way of etheric connection, by way of gas, by way of elements, by way of light. It all has to be carried in by that ether state, by that gas. There's no other way the elements are going to get to this planet. There's no other way that light is going to get to the planet. When you look at light and you see light shining, and you see where the light looks wavy, and it has that wavy look to it, if you stare at light long enough, you can see light moving on gas. That's light moving on gas. That's that etheric exchange, that etheric gas that is carrying the light and the elements in it. You can see it if you stare at it long enough. You can see it with the naked eye. Pay attention. We need to find out what the etheric connection is. And like I said, even a lot of our ancestors did this in the ancient Egypt and Nubia and all this. They were trying to find out, when they were finding out their connection to the sun, they started to understand the relationship through that solar ether connection, or that solar etheric connection. Right? That gas which is coming from the planet. That gas which is coming from the sun, making its way to Earth, carrying new images, advanced images, future images that are being added into the three-dimensional picture. Right? That are being added onto the three-dimensional picture. States and time and whatnot, these things are being added. New situations are being fed into the three-dimensional picture. New experiences, new people that you're going to be meeting. This is all fed into the three-dimensional picture through the etheric exchange. So when you come back, people say things like, you familiar. I know you from somewhere. I feel like we met before. We feel like we old friends. These are people that are constantly fed to you in that etheric exchange. These people are constantly being delivered to you. And you'll say this is a deja vu. But these people will constantly be delivered to you through this etheric exchange, because you are in alignment to meet these certain kinds of people through this etheric exchange. You are in alignment to be with certain people. You are in alignment to connect with certain people, to have children with certain people. This is all an etheric exchange that's taking place through the third eye experience, that pineal gland experience. This is what Mentellect is bringing to our people today. That's why when I talk about Mentellect, right, this is an extension of mind power that only a chosen few will have, only an elect few, those who are chosen. People will have an advanced form of focus, mental focus, and the perception to pick pictures of extended pictures. This is why I talk about Mentellect, and I say that the 144,000 are Mentellectuals or Mentellians, because they'll be able to take those etheric exchanges that carry elements on it, that carry intelligence on it, that carries light and power on it, and they will be able to decode it and figure it out, and they'll be able to have a comprehension of where it fits in their life, in their existence, where people fit, where places fit, where possessions fit, and where they don't fit. See, the ability to figure these things out, where these things go, where these things fit, and how, if these things fit into certain places in your life, how you are able to take them and propel forward with them after you find out how they fit. That is a person who is moving forward in this etheric or this etheric exchange. They are moving up. And they're going beyond the non-ether. They're going beyond just the hair. Dr. York just scraped the surface of it. He scraped the surface of it. So he is the first receiver. But he is not the last. He is the first, but not the last. The elements that are coming here are going to be attracted or going into only a chosen few, because these elements are what's going to extend the minds of the people, the images, right? The perceptions, the power will only go into a chosen few who are going through this etheric exchange. The people who are able to take in these elements through etheric exchange. Your third eye connection to the pineal gland has to happen by way of an etheric exchange. It has to happen by way of the etheric exchange. Yes, gas is going through the third eye. Gas is going through the third eye. Light is penetrating by way of that gas. Light is able to travel by way of gas. That's how light travels. Light is measured because it is in a gaseous state. All light, all elements come through a gaseous state, through an etheric state. Right? And people say, well, how is that so? You have pores all over your body, so your body takes in all kinds of things in the air. Right? Your body's able to take in all kinds of things. And sometimes you'll be able to take it off of the top layer of your body, clean it off. And sometimes it's meant to penetrate your body. It is meant to penetrate. It's meant to go in. Right? And it is meant to do something to your genetic makeup. It is either going to tear it down or extend it. And 9 times out of 10, what goes through the etheric exchange is meant to extend it, not tear it down. Our people are missing a lot. This is why I said that we have to start looking at things ourselves, and we have to start figuring things out ourselves collectively without the help of anybody else, because no one is going to be able to, especially now at this point, because nobody's going to be able to decode etheric messages that are coming through like us, because we're supposed to represent the future of those who are receiving that etheric exchange, that etheric exchange. We're supposed to be going toward becoming etheric beings, going toward the light, as they say. The light represents the extended version of self. The lighter you get, as in power, not in complexion, but the lighter you get in power, in perception, is how much more you will become extended, how you will exist in greater states, how you will become more powerful. Like charging up the light bulb, charging up the engine. You're being charged up through this etheric exchange. You're being charged up through this etheric exchange. And they know that this is going to take place. Mankind knows that this is going to take place, because with every generation that comes out, like I said, notice the word generation. Generate, meaning to empower or turn something on, to power something, to generate something. Right? Where does that generation come from? Where does that ability to produce seeds come from? To generate, where does it come from? It comes from that etheric exchange. It comes from that etheric exchange. Everything about you is solar ether. Everything about our people is solar ether. Right? But that solar power is being decreased. It is being made earthbound. Water ether, spirit ether, which is a limitation. Everything about us is supposed to be solar ether. Right? Carrying light. Carrying elements, carrying the potential to explode. When we say somebody has potential, they're potent. They have the power to explode into something greater. To transform. Explosion is transformation into something else, into something greater. When we say things like, if it doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger, right? Meaning that if you expand yourself, if you're put through certain things, it will extend you. If you can survive it, it will extend you. It will make you stronger. As you are tearing your body apart when you're working out, that is a form of etheric exchange. Things going off in your body, you are exploding your body. You are exploding the etheric gas in your body. The elements in your body, you are causing explosions to take place when you work. You are causing explosions to take place. Active explosions. When you are thinking without people telling you to think, without believing people, when you are thinking, you are causing etheric explosions to take place in the pineal gland, the third eye. That's why I told y'all to stop reading books. I told you to stop reading these books on science. Look at these things yourself, because now that it's going to force you to think. You don't have people to rely on anymore. You got to rely on yourself like your ancestors did. Because when you rely on people, you stop the etheric exchange from happening. You stop the explosion from happening. I was only sent here to spark us collectively. That's what I was sent here to do, to spark us collectively into the future. To be the spark of a new generation. To spark you mentally. To get you thinking, to cause that etheric exchange, to take you toward the 100. That's why I called you the 100%ers. Everything I do is for a reason. That's why I called you the 100%ers. 100% mind, 100% body, 100% soul in alignment. To take us into another state of being, into another and a higher state of existence, where all these things are in alignment. This is why we are lining up. And like I said, with a lot of our people, they can't even imagine this. And they're not supposed to. They're supposed to stay within the 3%. They're supposed to stay within as 3%ers. Right? Using a third percentage of that etheric ability. Using a third or 3% of that etheric ability. They will never see 100%, the majority of our people. They will never see 100%. They will never see 10%, the majority of our people. Or 5. So they can't even imagine 100. They were looking at Dr. York when he said 9 ether, which is 9%. 9% of that etheric ability. And that was stretching it. It's in our hair. But what gives the ability, the hair, the ability to grow? It's within. It's what lies within. What sits inside of us potentially that we refuse to ignite in ourselves collectively. I said that the 100 ether can only be triggered as a collective body because none of you are strong enough to trigger it individually. You wouldn't know how. You have to work off of each other to do it, to start moving toward a higher state of etheric connection. It has to work as a body. It has to work as a collective. It has to work as a unified power. One mind, one body, one soul. This is why they said your true movements have to move as one. One. 1,000, 2, 1,000. Everything is one. That's a collective etheric exchange. That is not a divided etheric exchange. It is not a dualistic one. It is not a multiple exchange of etheric connection. It is a collective body of one. Many within one, because there are many that have to move as one. The same way your body moves as one unit. Your body doesn't move as multiple units. Your arm don't go over in one place and your head don't go this way and all this and whatnot. You're trying to reach to do something. It's all connected to the same body. This is how the etheric element of power and gas and the elements that are being carried come to you. They come to you as a collective. It comes to you as a collective what's the word I'm looking for? It comes to you as a collective um, job or collective capability meant to turn something on in a collective body, right? You were meant to leave collectively as a group and meet back up collectively as a group. In other words, when you say you might have lived in another life, and then you were with a group of people in one world. Let's say you were an Egyptian pharaoh, or you were head of a government in the ancient world, and then all these people die out, and then you all are reborn again or regenerated again. You all link back up because that ether connection is still strong, and you will find these people that you were linked with. You will find these people that you were linked to it through this ether connection because the connection is still strong. It transcends all times, all dimensions, and all boundaries within the physical realm. This ether connection, because gas penetrates anything. Gas penetrates all things. Right? It will find its way through the pores, through the cracks, through the crevices of everything. It penetrates all things. And when it penetrates, it takes elements with it. It takes light with it. It takes everything. It takes life with it. This is why when they talk about people going through material matter, they say, oh, I saw the light of somebody. We used to talk about in the old biblical story. I saw the light of somebody, and their body went through a rock, or they went through a solid mass and whatnot, and they just penetrated the solid mass. How were they able to do that? They did it as ether. They did it as light ether. That's not no spookism. That's not no magic. That's not no kiddie nonsense. That's some mystery thing. They did it as a very light existence. They did it as the very light element or the very light material that is able to penetrate dense material. They did it as the lightest material, which is ether, the lightest version of matter, the lightest vessel, because as I said, ether is a vessel. Ether is a light vessel, gas, the lightest material they use to penetrate solid matter. And that's how these people were able to turn themselves, and that is a capability that those who hit 100 ether will be able to do. You will be able to transform yourself into gas. You will be able to transform yourself into gas. You will be able to transform the elements in you, your physical makeup, into gas. You will be able to transport the light into gas, and you will be able to travel as gas, as ether, through different realms and penetrate solid matter. That's real. This is things we learn in the transformation toward Amen, toward the Omni being, to the Omni self. These are things that we learn as we're going to 100 ether and going through the solar regeneration. These are the things we learn. These are the things that we will master in the 144,000. 100 in the 144,000 represents the 100 ether. The mysteries are coming out. Now, I know people are going to hear this probably from the so-called conscious community. When these Negroes hear this, they'll take it and they'll flip a few words, and then you'll hear this coming out of their mouths on Sarnetta TV. Certain people who are supposed to be so, have so much knowledge and whatnot that they steal from other people. So understand when you hear about the 100 ether that it only came through intellect. And you will not hear it this way again. But it will be in the book. Everything I said, verbatim, word for word. And with that, we're going to take a little bit of a break. If anybody has any questions, we'll be right back. Ether is penetrating this earth right now. Ether is being sent into the earth with a totally different reality in the elements, in the light, in the intel that is on the elements and on the light. It is crafting out or laying out a totally different design right now. You call it technology. You call it technology. These are all things that are designed within the ether, which the ether carries through these omni beings, these advanced beings that are manipulating the ether, right, the gases, and sending these things, right, on light. You know, when you saw on a lot of the walls in the ancient world, they had these, what they call cartouche, right? And they had different things inside the cartouches, pictures, words, things like that. If you really look at it, it looks like ether carrying intel in it. That's what it really looks like. Where they show you, the white man shows you, ever see in the comic books things, they show you the clear bubble, right? And in the clear bubble is the words, and the clear bubble over the characters' heads or what they thinking, or what they saying, the clear bubbles, right? That's a representation of ether carrying intel in it, right? Because words are light, right? Images are elements, right? They're being transferred. Images are elements. Words are light that's being transferred through the etheric state of gas, right? That's all traveling. It's being powered up. It's being charged up. It's being uploaded through the etheric state. Everything is being uploaded. And the beautiful thing about it is you have access to everything etheric. Everything from the solar etheric realm you have access to. You have access to everything from the solar etheric realm, and you even have power over everything on earth through the earth etheric realm, or the earthbound etheric realm, because everything as far as solar power trumps everything on earth. Solar power trumps everything, any kind of earthbound power. This is why when they talked about the solar holocaust coming, they said it's going to shut down all of the computers and all of the things that run the power on the planet, and it will send the planet into the dark ages, meaning that technology will become useless. The present day technology will become useless. This is why the white man is trying to outsource the planet as a solar planet. He's trying to outsource it by solar power, because he knows that once the solar holocaust comes and it hits this planet, right, when that big etheric state of gas and elements and light hits this planet, it's going to short everything out. In other words, it's destroying the present day technology in order to bring something else here. So that has to happen. There has to be an explosion. The explosion jolts the planet into another state of existence. That has to happen. That etheric charge has to hit the planet in order to channel the planet into a higher state of existence, an advanced state of existence. And it has to bring certain people who are going to be into the higher states of ether onto another level, or they're going to die. If they're not able to channel themselves into that higher state of etheric existence and etheric exchange, if they're not able to go beyond the three ether, right, which is mind, body, and soul on the lower level, they're not able to go beyond that, then they're going to die on this level. They're going to die on this level. We're already supposed to be at 9 ether, like Dr. York said. That was just the surface, because he always talked about how 9 is the highest singular number, right? How 9 is the highest singular number. Single. But wait a minute. They said once you get to 10, the numbers start to repeat. No. When you get to 10, the existence becomes stronger. The image becomes stronger. You get more than just a one-dimensional picture. You start to get a two-dimensional picture, a three-dimensional picture, a four-dimensional picture. Once these numbers start to double and triple and quadruple, you're getting higher images or extended images of an advanced state of being or an existence. The blanks are being filled in because I said in a three-dimensional picture, everything is incomplete. You're looking at incomplete things. So the point is to look at everything in an extended level. When we hit 100, 100 represents the mastering of a three-dimensional state. You went from 1 to 2 to 3 digits. You went from 1 to 9, from 10 to 100, and you just went to 3 states. You don't went into a third state, 3-dimensional, 3 digital, right? 100. That's the beginning. That is 1. 100 becomes 1, right? Everything comes into alignment. When you start to use 100% of your brain, that's the beginning of something else. And that movie Lucy, they go, oh, you know, once you use 100% of your brain, you just become. They showed you in that movie Lucy. You know, they through their image, they said she became pure energy and she was no longer contained in a physical form. Right? This is what they said in the movie Lucy. But what they didn't say is that though if Lucy was a so-called black woman, she would become pure light, pure energy, and solar power. She would become etheric. And she would be able to pop up in different places in different solar systems. She would be able to go every place. Every place where there is a solar system, where there are planets, she's able to have access to and come through. Right? To where she had to conform to that planet. That's how your Amun being got here. They came here in an etheric state. And they started to conform to the solid mass or the dense matter of this planet. And they became solid mass. They became solid element, right? They became soul, right? And they became mind. They converted their ether into a mind. They converted their light into souls, and they converted their elemental bodies or their elemental makeup, right, into physical bodies. They were able to conform them, right? They were able to conform them. But prior to that, they are all carried in the etheric state. They were able to conform them. So now, the ability for man and woman to charge up in physical form toward 100 ether puts you at a higher state of being, a higher state of power, a higher state of density, a higher state of invincibility to those who are only on a 3-dimensional level, right? To those who are only on a 3-dimensional level. The so-called story of Superman is based on that. Superman was a high etheric being. That's why I say he come from a place that had 3 solar systems. Now, I said that account came from the Sumerians, where they talked about the 3 suns, Utu, Apsu, and Shamash, in the Sumerian account. The blue sun, the red sun, and the yellow or the gold sun, right? These are all solar systems within the universe that are real, that do exist. These are all real solar systems. You have solar systems that and suns that have different appear to be have a different color to them. You have certain solar systems within the universe that have a blue sun. Ours has what appears to be a yellowish sun. You'll have those that have a red sun. Right? And I even broke it down further. That I said the blue sun is actually Earth. Earth is a sun that we're standing on. I said the red sun is Mars. Right? And the yellow sun is above our head. That's really a 3-Earth system in which etheric energy is supposed to go in a triplex state. In a triplex state, back and forth. In a triplex, right? A solar triplex. Earth, Mars, and the Sun is the solar triplex in this solar system. But life had to be restarted on Mars in order for that to happen. Life had to be restarted there. Wherever there is a planetary alignment, there has to be a solar triplex taking place. That means that life had to exist on at least two planets with a central sun, a triplex, in order for the etheric exchange to happen from the sun to one planet, which would be Earth, and now to the third planet that is being powered up. The sun is a planet in which light is being sent off of etheric light, gas, and elements are being sent from to those two places. And there's going to be an exchange taking place. But first, the solar holocaust has to happen. The Earth has to be powered up in a position, and in that powered position, it's going to affect Mars. Like I said, this is why they're wiring the planet for solar panels and things like that, because they know that when this solar holocaust does happen, it's going to take out all of the generators that are run by water, that are run by the flow of water, right? The hydraulic systems. Everything is run off of hydraulic energy here, and that has to be converted to solar system or solar energy. Everything has to be converted. In other words, this solar energy has to be channeled into places, because they're not going to have any other choice. It will destroy everything here, and new elements have to be developed into the earth. New people have to be born. People have to be regenerated. The ethers have to be raised. The ethers have to be raised. The children have to be heightened. The minds have to be sped up. Right? And like I said, the white man knows that this is going to happen. This is why he's in a hurry to mix the seeds of his children with our people. He wants to give you his woman now. They want to show black and white together, because they know that the only people that are going to survive the solar holocaust, or have a chance of surviving the holocaust, is the so-called black race, and those who have that mixed genetic in them. They're the only ones who are going to have hope in surviving, because the Caucasians and the rest of the human race are not compatible, or will not be compatible with the etheric exchange that's going to take place on this planet. Because, like I say, even the solar holocaust and the sun channeling so much energy onto the planet, even with that taking place, that's an etheric exchange. Because when the sun's light hits the planet, that is gas hitting this planet. That is gas. That is gas hitting this planet. That is elements hitting this planet. That is light hitting this planet. That is power hitting this planet. And the people who are not compatible with that, they're going to die. They're going to pass out. They're already going through the melanoma and heat strokes and things like that. Right? That's gastric poisoning. Right? That's gastric poisoning. These are all forms of death for those who are not geared up through the etheric exchange. Right? That's what that is. People are passing through and passing out. Right? People are trying to build up a resistance to it. Right? They're trying to build up a resistance to this etheric exchange. They're trying to develop suits that can, be worn, or oils and things that they can be worn on the body, right? That will be shields for that solar generation, that etheric exchange that's taking place on the planet, right? They have gas that is odorless that can kill you, right? Those are the mixtures of elements, right, together in a form of monoxide that can kill you, right? When you smoke a cigarette, right, what do they call that? They call it carbon monoxide poisoning. You're inhaling gases through the smoke, right? When you were in your car and you just turn the gas on and whatnot, and you sit in a space and you close it and you breathe in the gas from the car or the fumes, it kills you because it overloads your etheric makeup, overdose of gas, and it short circuits your etheric makeup or your etheric elemental makeup. It throws it off. It throws it out of whack because you are already you already have an elemental makeup that's set in place. When you smoke cigarettes, when you smoke marijuana, you're adding an extra artificial element into your etheric makeup. You're adding an extra artificial element, a monoxide, into your makeup. And it eventually causes a cancer inside of you, and it will eventually start to kill you. If your body is not able to incorporate it in and that allow that to live within your body, which 9 times out of 10 it's not, right? It can't convert those monoxides into your elemental makeup through the etheric gas that you're in the carbon monoxide, that you are inhaling through the cigarettes or the marijuana, whatever you inhaling, then it kills you because your body does not represent those elements that you're taking into your body, those monoxides, that makeup. Your body doesn't recognize it. And if your body does not recognize it and cannot kill it or convert it, it will kill you. It will short circuit the body. This is etheric poisoning. This is poisonous gas. When they used to do the thing with the gas chamber, right? They'll shoot all of these poisonous gases or these poisonous ethers into the gas chamber to kill you because your body's inhaling it and your body does not recognize it, right? Etheric makeup in your body does not recognize it. And it is offsetting the etheric makeup or the etheric makeup of gases and elements in your body, and it shuts it down, short circuits, and eventually kills you. So this is the same thing in which the sun is shooting etheric gas or solar etheric gases to the planet, which are going to intensify, right? And in the result of creating more elements here, advanced elements here, extended elements here that this planet needs to nourish itself, to feed the planet, because the planet is the only way the planet is able to continuously move is by being fed elements. The same way your body needs elements to live, the planet needs elements the same way. And the elements that it has been feeding on will not be enough to continue it into the future. It has to feed on new elements. And in order for new elements to be made, an etheric exchange has to take place in which new elements are transferred into the earth. The new elements have to be transferred into the earth in order for the earth to live. In order for new trees to grow, new vegetation, new plant life, new elements have to be transferred into the earth through the etheric exchange, through the gases that it's going to carry into the planet. So new images will be coming up. New images will be coming up. New realizations will come out. All of these things will take place. I want to take a call. 414.
Hey, how you doing, Nugan?
How you doing?
I'm all right. I tuned in sort of late, but it dawned on me when you was making that reference to Lucy, that she was able to appear in places and different times and all that. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that new movie, The X-Men.
Okay.
Have you seen that movie?
Yes, I have. Good movie.
Now, okay, so when he, whatever he called himself, the first mutant and whatnot, he was able to put that bubble around him and appear at different places and all that.
Uh-huh.
Is that sort of like like what you meant by like that when you had that reference to Lucy and all that?
Yeah, because if you notice, they said in the movie that he was able to travel to constantly travel through time and appear in the consciousness of certain beings and things like that. And he would show himself every so often because he's traveling on the conscience. They just use the word consciousness as ether. They switched out the word ether for consciousness, for consciousness. When they were talking about ether, he was traveling in a state of gas or gaseous state or soul state, right? And he was inhabiting different bodies or different genetic makeups and taking form through those genetic makeups.
Right. Yeah. So, like I said, I had tuned in sort of late, and I really didn't catch the topic of your show. So I wanted to know what was the topic.
Oh, what's tonight's topic? The title?
Yeah.
It's 100 ether, the full body soul regeneration.
Oh, okay. So in time, so that goes back. I got another reference to the movie X-Men. So when he finally woke up and came out of darkness, and he was getting these people together, and he was strengthening them and making them realize their true power and all that. So just like he generated them.
Yeah. He actually extended them.
Right.
And that was supposed to be a so-called black man. They didn't want to make it a black man, but you could tell it was supposed to be the so-called black man.
Right.
Because they went all the way back to Egypt. Yeah, he went all the way back to Egypt, and they got a so-called black man. They made his skin dark and whatnot, but they didn't want to make him a black man. But he actually extended them. What he did was open up advanced parts of them, extended versions of them. He opened them up to the extended versions of themselves. He was basically like God. He was the Amen who opened them up to extended versions of them. Because prior to them meeting him, they was limited.
Yeah, but when they asked him who he was, he said, "I went by many names. I was called Elohim and such and such and such and such." Yeah, I'm like, look at look at all these subliminals right here. It's like right now I can't watch no movie without really breaking down what they're really saying.
Yeah.
I was like, look at this right here. I mean, it's like, man, like I was telling my girl, I said, man, once your third eye open, man, the game is over. The game is over.
Well, like I said, the only place where the third eye is going to be open is amongst the 144,000. The rest of these Negroes who ain't part of that covenant, ain't part of that body, they can forget it, man. They can just ain't no third eye being open on them. The only place the third eye and the only mind movement, the only real mind movement is the Republic of Mentellect. That's it. There ain't no other mind movement. Everybody else is into some religious, cultural, and they thinking that through some religious and cultural thing that they're going to be raised to 144,000. That's not how it's going to happen. The people are going to be raised to the 144,000 through that mental connection, of that third eye experience of that pineal gland.
I will say this to you. You're not lying, but you're not lying, because you know what? Here's another reference. That dude told the reason why you're going to lose because you by yourself. And he said, I'm not alone. So that means he had a collective, and it took the collective to overpower whatever power it was. It's all about a collective.
Oh, yeah, it always has. But these Negroes, that's why it's only going to be the 144,000. The black race is finished, man. They finished because they want to be individuals. They want to be conscious. They want to be their own gods. These niggas don't want to cooperate. They don't want to follow nothing. No, we don't need no more leaders. They already in the wrong direction, man. So forget these niggas. They can forget it. They might well not even listen to this. This message ain't even for the conscious niggas. They could just go ahead and forget it. Go keep talking about the black woman is God and roll out the red, black, and green flag and all this other stuff. These niggas are finished, man.
All right, look,
we're in the age of the 144,000, man. In 100 ether, we're in the age of the 100 ether. They could forget.
I'm on your Facebook. That's Bernard Bernine. I'm on your Facebook, and I need you to send me that information or not, however you do it. I need that.
What's that? What you need?
Your information about, getting in there. Joining
the Republic of Intellect? Just go to the site, brother. I'll put it in your inbox. Just go to the site, mentellect-republic.com, and go there where it says how to become a member, and do exactly what it says on the site, how to become a member. Okay, but I'll put it in your thing. I'll put it in.
Okay, right, that's Bernard Bertin.
Yep. I know. I got you.
All right, move.
All right, brother.
Yep.
All right, brother. All right.
Yep.
All right. Put you on mute. Another call coming in. 740.
How's it going, Brother New?
How you doing, brother?
Did you happen to watch, it was a movie came out a couple of years ago called The Watchmen. Did you see that?
No, that I never saw.
Say what?
I never saw that movie.
Oh, okay, so I can't even speak on it about it. But, you know, I heard you one time, everything you're talking about tonight, is that going to turn us into like a Superman state or something like that?
Everything I'm speaking about, you said, is it going to turn into a Superman state?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But certain people are you're gonna have certain people that's gonna get it, and certain people are not. They're just gonna still be walking around as regular people. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna still have some regular people here. But it'll be what this planet is gonna kind of resemble is it's gonna be the God race, and it's gonna be the human race. But the new human race is gonna be an amalgamation of the white race, the Asians, some Negroes left over. They all going to be consolidated into one group. It's going to basically be a bunch of mulattoes and the 144,000 who are the Nubians and whatnot. They're going to be the Mentelians, and that's going to be it. And it's going to be the almond beings and the human beings, which are going to be mulattoes. Ain't going to be no more white people here.
Okay, so it's going to be a bunch of Klay Thompsons around.
Said a bunch of who? Would you say a bunch of who?
Yeah. Bunch of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry's.
Yeah. Why you think? Hey, check it out. Why you think they keep pushing them in your face? That's because they preparing you. They letting you know that's going to be the future. That's going to be the future human race. They're going to be a bunch of mixed up mulattoes. Ain't going to be no more white people here. Ain't going to be no more white people. Ain't going to be no more East Indians. Ain't going to be no more Chinese. They all the elites of those people. They going to Mars, right? The elites. That's why Richard Branson is charging $1 million to get on that shuttle, on that Virgin shuttle, because they going someplace. Why would he build a Virgin shuttle and charge $1 million? Who can afford that? The elite.
Only the people that got paper like that, yeah.
Exactly, and that they're gonna pick and choose who they want to go there, and it's gonna be the white race. Because see, Mars is further away from the sun, so they ain't due for a solar holocaust there for a while. They good, so they're gonna take the white race there. They're gonna take the elite of the white race. They're gonna take some Asians. They're gonna take some of the scientific people, the people they feel is needed, the smartest people. They'll take some white women. They might even take a few black women that they want to screw and mix their seed. They might, but I doubt it. They're going to leave all the majority of black people are going to be here, and they're going to push them to mix their seed, and basically that's going to be it. It's going to be mulattoes, and it's going to be the 144,000, which will be more than 144,000 after a while. It's going to be that seed they're going to be the race of almond.
Yeah. You know, you said something about maybe a year or two ago, and I didn't quite understand it, but now I have a little understanding. You know, you remember you said one time that the sun can give us enough nutrients that will sustain us. You remember you saying that?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I hold that to be true. Because, see, you know, every animal, man, when they wake up in the morning, the first thing they do, I notice they go get up in that sun.
Mm-hmm.
And they get their 10, 15 minutes. Then, man, their day is good, you know. I go and stand in it, and you know, it just seems like it makes everything much more clearer, man. The sun has a lot of power.
Well, when I was talking about, that's part of it, because you got a lot of these clowns out here with this sun gazing business, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with the sun gazing, because what it's supposed to do is supposed to, you know, regenerate the body. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what I also meant by, you know, nutrients, I mean it's gonna produce new elements and new food in the planet. It's going to be a different type of vegetation growing.
Okay. Yeah.
See, what has to happen is a lot of people have to die and go into the earth for that to happen as well. That because, like I said, these people they're gonna become fertilizer. A lot of the humans who don't serve no purpose, they're gonna become fertilizer.
Mm.
Right.
Right. I hear you, man.
Because what the white man's going to do is, for a lot of the people that's going to die, he's going to he's not going to put them in coffins. And he's not really doing that right now. I'm going to let you know, a lot of these people that go into the coffins, they just throw you in the ground, take you out of the coffin. They just show you in the coffin amongst your family, but then they throw you in the ground because what they understand is that the earth needs to eat your body. Now, unless you've got a mausoleum where it's locked up and whatnot, and very few people can afford that, or you cremating your body, they're going to throw you in the earth, and bury you, like they do mass graves and whatnot for the paupers and stuff. They throw them in cheap bodies, but they really just throw the bodies inside the dirt.
Okay. And take that casket and resell it.
Yeah. They've been doing that. They resell them caskets, man. They dump you out. They dump you in the ground and just bury you and whatnot, and then they resell a casket.
Right, that's
your family
a 3-for-1 deal right there. That's
yep.
all profit.
Mhm.
Man, my daddy was telling me that there's a lot of dead bodies, man, they dumped in the ground over back in the day in Italy and around those areas. And I was saying that's probably why the wine and stuff is so good over there. Because it's getting that body nutriment over there.
Yeah. The earth will will eat, will feed, and use that body as nutrients. You understand, and convert it into fertilizer to grow plants. And when the sun hits it, when that etheric exchange happens, and the sun hits the soil, it'll grow good vegetation out of it. Everything.
Oh yeah. All right, brother. You ain't played none of that good old blue 6 in a while. You
I promise I'll play some blue 6. I got you. All
right, man. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Put you on mute. All right, 575. We got to be brief with you. I know you like to take up some time, brother. I'm gonna get you at 575, but you gotta be brief. 575.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be long this time, homie. One thing I just wanted to hit on real quick was the Tesla knowledge, as far as things going from the air into the underground. A lot of the technology is converting back to the original Tesla knowledge, and dealing with that. The second part I wanted to get just real brief was your thoughts on carbon interaction with ether. You know what I'm saying? The connection that you think. I just been mentally building on that. So I just want to leave you with that thought as far as the carbon interaction with ether. That's pretty much it, homie.
Oh, okay. Well, carbon interaction with ether is supposed to it converts carbon. It's the easiest to convert it down to, which again is how we are able to travel from throughout the universe, as light beings, because the gas or the ether breaks down carbon easily and carries it, more than anything, just like any other element. So like I said, this is how we break down. We break down through ether. We break down through gases and whatnot, and that carbon or that element, which makes up our physical flesh, is able to be transferred from solar system to solar system to solar system continuously. So it meshes in good with the ether, with the gas.
Right. Is it something that's going to, as far as multiply the carbon element when you said about ether 100, does that, do you feel like that's going to do any type of conversion with the carbon, as far as how carbon takes in light and sound and vibration and so forth? When you said 100% ether, it just made me think that it's going to advance the other number one element in the universe, as far as carbon.
Yeah, it's going to magnify. Got to magnify. It's going to magnify itself every time that ether, and that power and that light extends itself and expands itself, it's gonna every time it increases itself. So because the whole point of it is to explode into those other dimensions. So if it explodes into those other dimensions, it's going to take the people who are part of that or who are on that level mentally, physically, or who are in alignment with that. They're going to explode outward as well, and they're going to find advanced stages of themselves as well. They are going to go through this mind, body, and soul experience of 100 ether. That, like I said, that's a total explosion of growth. That's an outgrowth.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. That's all. I just wanted to get that thought out.
All right, brother.
All right.
Okay. We got 14 minutes left. So, as we are going into outgrowth and that solar extension and that ether, like I said, it puts us in different places. Carbon, is which is what makes us up, right? Which makes us up as so-called black people or almond being, right? That Ka that makes us up, that carbon, right, is able to be extended through the ether, right? That is the material, right? That is the element. The element that I was talking about that will be extended is carbon, right? The ether is the mental transmission, the mental cognitivity or cognitive capability, right? Because every time ether expands, the mind expands. Every time ether expands, travels, the mind expands and travels. That's why I said if we attached our images, our minds, our memories to the etheric exchange that's taking place, the etheric transmissions that's going through this planet, we would be able to know more things. We will be able to put out the technology because everything that's here in existence, I said this before, everything, how everything was made here, the structure and everything is already in the planet. It's already here. It's in the etheric transmission that's going through this atmosphere. So when I talked about the power that's going through the planet, that's in the atmosphere, that's in the air, I was talking about the etheric power that was going through here, the etheric charge that's going through here, the gaseous charge that's going through here, because electricity, power, all that's moving on gas. That's all moving on gas. That's why they powered things on gas first. Electricity moves on gas, right? On that gas, on that messages, all this stuff moves on gas and messages, on oxygen, on wind, right? It all carries power. It is all able to be converted into oxygen, power, gas, ether. And we're able to connect to this. If we're able to take our minds and put it on this, that's why I said start thinking, because your thinking, your ability to figure things out, will attach to this etheric, to these etheric transmission that's going through the planet. All the answers are, in other words, I'm basically saying everything is in the air. Everything is in the air. All the intelligence is in the air. All you have to do is tap into it. Tap into it mentally, etherically tap into it. Just think about it. Think about it. That's the biggest thing I kept saying. I tell these people, stop setting up here, believe in what everybody else, because see, this is why the white man writes all these books and tell you all this stuff, because he doesn't want you to think. He wants to do your thinking for you. So when you read his books, he's basically, and you repeating what he's saying, you basically allowing him to do your thinking for you. He writes the book and gives you the luxury of not thinking, not trying to figure nothing out, because he becomes your go-to guy. That's why I told you Negroes to stop reading these goddamn science books. Stop it. Because he don't know what he's talking about. He's trying to figure this stuff out, and you are connected to the people that created this stuff. So you would have a better comprehension of these things if you just thought about it. If you made that etheric connection to through this intel that's already going through this planet, the answers are already there. You just got to think about it. That's the hardest thing to get our people to do. 100 ether will get our people there. That's why the white man said, what will happen if you use 100% of your brain? What will happen? Then he'll go, you're not using a percentage of your brain. So he knows that there's a ladder in which you have to climb. There has to be a level in which you have to ascend to mentally, and that's through that etheric exchange. It's through the etheric exchange. Experience of etheric exchange. That is the enlightenment that you're looking for. It all goes hand in hand. Enlightenment, the pineal gland, light, gas, right? Transmission, electricity, elect, chosen, the people who are able to pick it up, the transmission, the reception, the charge, in charge, collective, elect. You getting the picture here? I know a lot of our people are not getting the picture yet, but you should be getting the picture by now. An image should be forming in your mind about what I'm saying. If you don't understand, if you don't understand anything, an image from what you're hearing should be forming in your mind right now. See, because I know a lot of our people have not had the luxury of thinking because you've had your thinking done for you. But in order to make that etheric connection, you have to think. You have to think past what you've been taught to believe. And that is the hardest thing for our people to do in order for you to even get on that level of even perceiving 100 ether. In order to get on that level of even perceiving 100 ether, you got to stop talking about Africa. You got to stop Asheing and Hoteping. You got to stop all this nonsense. The world is much bigger than Africa and Ashe and Hotep. We still talking about Africa, the white man on Mars somewhere. This is all slowing us down mentally. It's slowing us down. The etheric exchange here on this planet is going to get stronger. And if our people are not in alignment with that, y'all can forget it. You're going to become a thing of the past. Your time frame will be shortened because it's already written. Like I said, a lot of times the people who are going to be able to pick it up versus the people who are not. Right? It's already written on the people who are going to be able to pick it up and those who are not going to be able to pick it up. The ones who are going to be able to pick up this etheric exchange and go to the 100% or become those 100%ers, those Mentalians, right, who are going to be pure, because Mentalian equals pure Etherian. This is what Dr. York was talking about. We were saying the same thing, but, again, he didn't realize that it would come in a physical form where we would become the physical manifestation of what he was talking about when he was talking about the Etherians. He was talking about light beings and the future. And yeah, that's but the realization of it in physical form transmitted or translated as Mentalians, where there was a race of people of pure mind, pure body, and pure soul, 100%. 100% ether. This is what we're working toward. This is the point of what we're working for, and everything after that falls into alignment. Do you understand why there has to be a structure, why there has to be an order, why there has to be a collective, why there cannot be any individuals in this 100 ether state? There cannot be any individuals. Cars run on pistons collectively. Bodies work on organs, off of organs, right? So there is collective parts in which this etheric exchange has to go through. Everybody that will come into the Republic of Mentellect represents a position, a place. There's a reason for you to be here. And those who cannot be here, they will be the odd people out. They will be out because they will not be able to receive that transmission of 100 ether. Our goal is to reach 100 ether. Our goal is to reach 100 ether. That's it. It's nothing else. And the only way that's going to be done is by the collective embodiment of Mentellect, 100 ether. And that's it. So let me go ahead and read these questions before we get out of here. I hope everything was clear. If not, I apologize. You can call in and ask at another time. We got like 5 minutes, some change left. What is 100 ether? The full body solar regeneration. 100 ether is simply the full body extension and repowered to go into higher states and higher dimensions. Pure etheric exchange. The alignment, the higher alignment of the mind, body, and soul, right? Which on the lower level becomes mind, body, and soul, but in the higher states becomes light, gas, right, and element, which is carbon. It all converts into the ether, but they have to all, once they come into that 100%, they all in alignment, and it puts you into those higher states of being, where you start to become pure light. That's why I refer to our people as the bright race, because that's the goal in which we want to go to. The bright race, the solar etheric beings, and that regeneration of power in which we coming forward in, that regeneration, not reincarnation. We said regenerate. We don't do reincarnation. We're not no East Indians. We're not animals. We are the regenerated ones, the solar beings, the 100%ers. What is ether? Ether is gas. Ether is the vessel that carries light and elements, right? Which is carbon and many other elements. It is the carrier of light, power, elements, and everything that will build a future world, an extended state of higher dimensions. It is the carrier. Think of it as the truck that carries the construction equipment. Ether is the truck that carries the construction equipment to build. Is ether everything? No, ether carries everything. It carries everything. It converts everything. What is solar ether? Solar ether, the gas from sunlight, and on the sun, it is converting ether, light, and elements all together. That is really what the hydrogen to oxygen and all of these different elements, and the sun powering into each other. That is the formulation of ether, which is gas, light, and elements coming together constantly. That is the powering of the sun. The regeneration and the constant mixing of these three coming together, which is what powers the sun. And once these things come together, they're sent out to the planets to carry intel on it, and they extend the planets. That is solar ether. What is 100 ether? The start, and when is solar ether? What is solar ether? The start or finish of the solar regeneration? 100 ether is the start. It is the start. Even though things start from 1, the single digit, on a lower level, it is the start of a higher existence, a higher state of being, an advanced state. And that's it. Join us Wednesday night for the next ᴜᴜʟʟ Radio broadcast. I am your host, the intellectual ᴜᴜʟʟ. This has been ᴜᴜᴟ Radio. Good night. What do I want to close with? I want to close with something other than what I usually close with. Something short. Okay, there we go.